Good.
When you visit Chiang Mai, you'll really get it.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
They've got a
Do they have one of those clip things?
They use it on an iPad.
Oh, okay.
It's all animated.
Yeah, I guess it's all virtual now.
Okay. So Shri Prapana Jivanamritam Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Okay. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premanand Hari Hari Bol. Okay. Okay. I think we're on 21. Oh no, we've done that, okay. Now, yes, we're at 22. Guru Maharaj gives the introduction, the comparative ontological conceptions of devotion in Vrindavan. Braja Bhajana Tarat Tan Yanu Bhutaha Bhutihi. Comparative ontological conception of devotion in Vrindavan. Then next is a lengthy explanation by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, rendered into poetic form. Higher than Vaikuntha is Mathura city, since then occurred the advent of Sri Krishna Hari. Better than Mathura is Vrindavan, the holy place where Lord Hari enjoyed the joyous dance of amorous grace. Above Vrindavan Dham is Govardhan Hill. The lifter of the hill and his consort there did intimately revel. Even higher than Govardhan Hill is the banks of Radha Kunda, that the sweetheart of Gokula over floods sweet love abound. Who would select for his worship any other place, disregarded the sacred pond at Govardhan's base? Such a foolish fellow surely can't be found. The highest abode of love divine is the banks of Radha Kunda. So Saraswati Thakur telling us, as Guru Maharaj has outlined, ontological conception, how the devotion is developed according to a particular place. So like we were saying yesterday, devotion develops in a transcendental way. There's form automatically manifests in relation to devotion. And there's particular forms in each particular location. And then in each particular location, there's forms, that location, and then particular types of pastimes that Krishna engages in. So reality means, love and devotion and dedication, but that love, devotion, and dedication has a particular form, has a particular place, has a particular really detailed nature that Srila Rupa Goswami outlines. So it's somehow our conception of what the absolute is kind of still, what can I say, like a negative view that it must all be some kind of just energy. But we know by reading that it's not, that Krishna is actually manifest in form. But how that is hasn't yet come to us. And gradually through our devotional development. Srila Guru Maharaj is told we'll pass through these different stages, and depending on our particular nature for devotion and our particular order that comes from Krishna, will stop at different positions and serve in different ways. But the aim of the Sampradaya, which is carried by, the great Paramahansa Vaishnavas, is to go to that place where the manjaris are serving and serve their servants of servants like that. So first Mathura Siddhi, there occurred the advent of Sri Krishna Chandra Hari. So we know Krishna went there, killed Kamsa, and actually took the throne in Mathura. But I don't know much about the details of his pastimes. Do you know, Didi? In Mathura? No. Anyway, he's a king there. And somehow it's a little more personal than the Dwarka pastime, because from Mathura he goes to Dwarka. Here Dwarka is not mentioned. It's only the area around the Mathura Mandala that's mentioned.
When Krishna killed Kamsa, no, I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
When Krishna killed Kamsa in the arena, Krishna and Balaram killed him. Then they took Ugrasen out of jail, right? And
Oh, right.
reinstated him.
Oh, that's true. Yes, yes.
I'm asking it just if
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. But Krishna had a particular pastime in Mathura as, didn't he?
Well, they went to kill Kamsa.
But only that?
Well,
I thought-
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Because Kamsa put Ugrasen in jail.
Yeah.
And took the throne.
Yeah. When you mention it, I know that's correct. I just somehow or other, let me think. I may be wrong. Somehow or other, I had it that there was a particular pastime that had some, duration in Mathura. But I guess maybe the kingly pastime is only Dwarka. Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, so then from Mathura, there's Vrindavan. So we know also when he entered the arena, it's a very beautiful description that everybody sees Krishna differently, depending on their degree of development of devotion, or their degree of collapse of devotion. They see him in different ways. They're very fearful of him, or they're full of love with him. And so many different stages in between that are manifest there. Then Vrindavan is above Mathura. And at the top of the Vrindavan Lila is the Rasa Lila, the joyous dance of amorous grace. Okay, then Govardhan. We know that direct statements? We know Srila Gurudev was very much thinking to go to Govardhan, to stay there, right, in his final days. But somehow that didn't happen. Do you know, Didi, what Gurudev said about the nature of Govardhan and why he wanted to be there?
Yes.
No?
Because it's okay.
No,
It's it was the spiritual vision of is it Saraswati Thakur that, or Sri Maharaj, that they would stay in Govardhan at night and every day go to Kusham Sarovar, pick flowers, go to Radha Kund, Shamakund for service, but not stay there too long. Come back to Govardhan, to the shelter of Giriraj, for shelter and for rest and for their inhabitants. So that was some arrangement, spiritual arrangement that our Guru Varga had as our ultimate prospect. That we wouldn't spend too much time in Radha Kund and Shama Kund, but we would go there for service. and stay in Govardhan for shelter under Giriraj's merciful shelter. And so Gurudev wanted to follow that. And that's why we made his Pushpa Samadhi in Govardhan. Because that he mentioned so many times he wanted to stay in Govardhan, in the Giriraj's shelter, and every day go for service, which always involved picking flowers for the service of Radha and Krishna in the gardens of Kusham Sarovar.
And there's some story about how Gurudev got Govardhan?
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I know Gurudev was looking for something a little off the beaten trail, little secluded from all the hustle and bustle of Vrindavan. And he didn't even want to start a temple in Vrindavan because he didn't want the devotees to spend all their time in the market, in Loi Bazaar temple. He used to really be very strict about this. All our devotees are going to Loi Bazaar temple and not to make business there, and we won't even make a temple there because then there will be too much shopping and business for everyone, and it should only be for spiritual pursuits. So he chose that place in Govardhan, which was, way off in a secluded area, hidden behind everything, surrounded by the piglands. And then when they purchased the land, they plowed the land. They came upon this Giriraj Govardhan Shila that is now our Anugiriraj Govardhan Shila that we worship. He was buried, and they unearthed him and washed him and saw auspicious markings of previous worship hundreds of years ago.
Wow.
And called the Pandas, and the Pandas confirmed, yes, this is a proper Govardhan Shila, and it had been worshipped like 200-300 years ago. And a big festival took place, and a small little, tiny little shelter was made for him, and they began that day to offer bhog to him. And so that was the start. And then the rest is history. Then Gurudev felt like he did need to accommodate the devotees in Vrindavan, and that it was divine will that our property was given. And the first one in Vrindavan was Gurudev received on the Parikrama Marg out of Vrindavan. It was on the outskirts near Ramanreti. Have you seen that place? And Gurudev tried to put a wall there and a little shelter, and it kept falling down, breaking. And Gurudev was just always very observant to see why is this happening and what's the reason behind this. Nothing they did there would ever last. And so Gurudev, he never sold a property in his entire life. Everything he kept for Gurudev and Krishna, and felt, don't sell any property of the Mat. But it was just not working out there. And later he saw through the dead telephone talking. He was sitting on his veranda and in Navadvip Dham, and there the phone lines were always being cut. and it was normal that the phone would work half the time or less. And he'd just pick it up to see if it was working or not. In that time, like, it was a different number. It had like 3 digits. I don't know how people could even get through. And so he checked one day to see if it was working, and it wasn't. He put it down. Then he checked later, and Krishna Vallabha Prabhu, Mahesh's father, was on the phone. And it was like, Govinda Maharaj, Krishna Vallabha Ch.Ch.
Wow.
And he said, please, our property next to Radha Damodar, right across the street from us, is up for sale. And everyone wants to buy it, but we only want to give it to you and no one else. We only want you to be our neighbors. That was their own property. It was right in front of their house, and they loved Srila Gurudev. And said, please send your man to sign the papers and take ownership. So Gurudev felt this is Krishna's will. That's why the wall kept falling down and nothing could happen in the other place. And he sent Purnananda Prabhu to go and sign the papers. And then he hung the phone up and then picked it up again to see if it was still working, and it was not. It was dead. So it was just that magic moment where that whole arrangement was made. So, yeah, first Govardhan, and that even after Vrindavan and Kaviraj Goswami's property came to us, and the temples were built, and the memorial was built, still Govardhan took the more emphasis and importance in Gurudev's heart, and he wanted to stay there in his last days. So that's as I remember it. Did I miss something? Keshavananda's living there half the year.
Really? I know, I'd heard that concerning that other property, that Gurudev was getting so much advice that this property will increase in value and we should keep this property, but he was, when this other property had come, he said, it's not my business owning land in Vrindavan. So he let that property go when the new one came. And but we do feel that though, that Vrindavan, our temple there, right in the heart, at the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Guru Maharaj's Pushpa Samadhi's there. It really feels like this is the place of Guru Maharaj, and this deep service going in. And certainly it's quite funny because Govardhan is high, is considered higher, and usually, you know, we're kept or protected in the so-called lower places, but in Vraja, then actually Govardhan is our real shelter. Jai Gurudev is our real shelter, under the protective, merciful, affectionate glance of Giriraj, and we can feel that. I think we all feel that in Govardhan, that we have it's Gurudev's place, and we're always happy to be there.
And technically, Radha Kunda is the ultimate, but our Guru, our Guru Varga feels better to be a little humble, stay a little respectful distance at the lotus feet of Giriraj to be safe, and stay in that humble position.
The sloka from Saraswati Thakur says that, you know, it brings Radha Kunda to the highest position, but then from that statement it goes on to say, now who would disregard sacred pond at Govardhan's base. I was thinking giving emphasis again to Govardhan, but not so much. But anyway, we can understand from Guru Varga that place at Govardhan has a special deep emphasis for us. And I think, it's important that everyone who goes to Vrindavan should also go to Govardhan, see Gurudev's Samadhi, even though it is a bit of still now, it's a bit of a hassle to get there, huh?
Yes, I mean, it's an adventure. It's an adventure.
Anyway, okay. So, time's passing. I think we'll leave it there. The next one is the proper approach to realize one's eternally perfect divine identity in the Vrindavan mellow of devotion. So, places mentioned now, personal identity will be given by Srila Guru Maharaj with a quote from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and another poetic description by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakshid Hardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Shri Prabhupada Jivanamritam Ki Jai. Okay, wow. We get to read that, now we get to read Chaitanya Charitamrita.
It's a feast.
What's going on here?
Morning bath and nectar.
Jai.
Okay. Okay, so Sri Krishna preaching the Harinam as example, and then we'll just go to text 100. I don't think we've done this. Krishna Avatar, Ch.Ch Habe Krishna Avatar. Okay. So, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Okay. So text 100. In this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? Nama binu Kali Kale Dharma nahi ara. Kali Kale Ch.Ch Habe Krishna Avatara. Nama binu, except for the holy name, Nama binu Kali Kale, in the time, Kale, the time, the age of Kali. Dharma, the religion. Nahi, there's no religion. Ara, Kali Kale, in the age of Kali, then that given by Krishna Avatara. So the chanting of the holy name, the religion of the age, and we can actually see how Mahaprabhu has come and give that very powerfully. But we hear in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the effect has kind of rolled across the world like a giant wave, and we began to see the evidence of that wave in the time of Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. But actually the wave is already there. It's just necessary to manifest it, to bring it into vision. And that the necessity for that is to have developed conscious individuals who are feeling that wave of Mahaprabhu and have the capacity to present it and bring it out to people. And that will come in time. We know by the prediction of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and others. And we hear from Kaviraj Goswami also in so many places that this name will be everywhere in this golden age of Kali that we're approaching now. So, and we can see that even in pretty much Koitava type dharma, religion, there's still some emphasis on the name. Like the Catholics have Holy Name Cathedral, and the Muslims are chanting Allah, Allah, Allah in different ways. And I believe in the Jewish section they chant, is it Yahweh Adonai maybe? Anyway, there's some emphasis everywhere on the potency of the name, and of course this is kind of rolled into them by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because everything, religion, the experience of transcendence, by the grace of our gurus, we can see how it's in like beginning stages in different places. But those beginning stages are, connected with the higher stage of development, because this has to do with the reality of an actual, like singular transcendental stream. We have knowledge, experience. We've seen great Vaishnavas who are in contact with that stream. But in fact, people who are beginning to experience religion, even in a small percentage, it's a part of that transcendental stream. Generally, sometimes there's completely bogus people who are misusing religion, and sometimes it's totally mixed. Like to some degree it is for us also. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that in this age, there's no other process but chanting the holy name, and that can be seen and felt everywhere, from the highest representation to the kind of lower understandings of what religion is. There's still some presence there. Okay, anything? Okay. Text 101. I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition him in humbleness. These are in quotations. I guess it's Kaviraj Goswami speaking.
A little refresh.
Yeah.
From today's.
Dutta Acharya Gosai, two classes of men, demons, Shishi, Guru, Gauranga, Sundar, Radha, Giridhari, Jai. Okay. Anyway, I can't seem to determine what the quotations are.
What's the name of the chapter?
Let's see. I don't know if it's given a name. Let's see. This is chapter 3. The author has fully discussed the reason for the descent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So something like the descent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishna was talking, but here it's talking about the worship of Krishna. So it seems like it's Kaviraj Goswami. No, it's actually, I'm sorry, it's actually Advaita Acharya. They're talking about the Acharya feeling compassion for the conditioned souls, begging for Krishna to advent, and then poof, there's quotations. It doesn't say directly, but it is Advaita Acharya. Okay. So I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition in humbleness. Okay, so this is Advaita Acharya approaching the worship of the Lord to pray for him to descend. Shuddha bhave koriba krishnara aradhana nirantara sadainye horiba nivedana. Okay, nivedana request. Shuddhabhavi, in a purified state of mind, I shall aradhana, I shall worship Krishna, Lord Krishna, Krishnera, Narantara, constantly, sadainya, in humility. So, Advaita Acharya is a Paramahansa, pure Vaishnava, and he's telling, I'm going to call out to Krishna in a pure state of mind and beg him to, in great humility, to descend. Then, my name, Advaita, will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. Aniya Krishnera Karo Kirtana Sanchara. Tabi se Advaita Nama Sapala Amara. So Aniya Krishnera, bringing Lord Krishna. Kirtana, inaugurating the chanting of the holy, Sanchara, advent, bringing about, adventing the chanting of the holy name. Then Advaita is my name, and it will be Sapala, the flower of the name, the fulfillment, my name will be fulfilled. Okay, so the non-dualist Mayavadi philosopher, who falsely believes that he is non-different from the Lord, is unable to call out to him, that Lord, like Advaita Prabhu. Advaita Prabhu is non-different from the Lord, yet in his relationship with the Lord, he does not merge in him, but eternally renders service unto him as a plenary portion. This is inconceivable for the Mayavadis because they think in terms of mundane sense perception and therefore think that non-dualism necessitates losing one's separate identity. So that's very clear. The Mayavadis are the flip side of the material coin. They see everything in terms of rejecting anything that they perceive before them and not accepting something transcendental. They just reject the form, they reject the activity, they reject the basic substance of individuality, and they think that by doing that they're going to experience spiritual experience. But all they do is get some, what we understand from our, the great Vaishnavas who teach us, that it's just a little teeny drop of spiritual experience that they get, and they stay in that, that Brahmajyoti as a small ray for some time, but eventually have to come back again. So Mahaprabhu preached the philosophy of inconceivable simultaneous oneness with the Lord and difference from Him. Conceivable dualism and monism are conceptions of the imperfect senses which are unable to reach the transcendence because the transcendence is beyond the conception of limited potency. Okay, so that which is conceived as dualism is what the material world is. And beyond the material world is the monistic conception. This is all based on mundane senses, Srila Prabhupada says. So, but, going on beyond that is transcendence and the transcendental reality of service and love. So even though Advaita Acharya's name is Advaita, non-dual, it's connected with Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, that non-dual aspect of the living being as, being connected with Krishna as a small part. And Advaita Acharya himself is connected as a plenary expansion. Okay. Okay, so anything? Text 103. While he was thinking about how to propagate Krishna by worship, the following verse came to his mind. Krishna Vasha Karibena Kon Aradhane Vicharite Eka Shloka Oila Tara Mane. Okay. So he's thinking about how to worship Krishna. Krishna Vasha Karibena shall propitiate, how he will bring about the Aradhana, that worship of Krishna. So Vicharite, while considering Eka Shloka Aila Tanra Mane came to his mind. And this is the verse. Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulsi leaf and a palmful of water. Tulsi dala matrena jalasya chalukena va vikrineti swam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhakta vatsalaha. Bhakta Vatsala, Lord Krishna, who is very affectionate to the devotees, Vikrinite, sells Swam Atmanam, his own self, unto the Bhaktebhya, the devotees, who give Trena only Tulsi Dala, Tulsi leaf, and Jalasya Chulukena, a palmful of water. This verse is from Gautamiya Tantra. And there's also a verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna advises this also. Just give me this. That's all you have to do. Because what Krishna wants is the devotion and dedication, but that devotion and dedication is, you know, actually enhanced by the presence of you know, a great devotee like Srimati Tulsi Devi. And adding water to the offering, it gives a like a tangible representation of that devotion. It's like a means through which the devotion is to be conveyed. It has to do with, it's like our aradhana, the deity worship. When we offer the lamps and the incense and the cloths and the fans, it's all you know, tangible representations of devotional dedication. Like we were saying before, Tantra, Pancharatra Tantra, you know, means applying those things which are visible to us for deliverance. Tanna Trayate, Tanna Trayate. So we're right-handed tantrics, and you know, we reject the left-handed side of Tantra. But our deity worship, our sadhana, our diksha, initiation, all this is part of the Vaishnava Tantra. And there are whole you know, scriptures, books that are called Vaishnava Tantra that the scholars read, but which we have access to by the writings of the Goswamis, who have kind of consolidated the writings of the Vaishnava Tantra and you know, other South Indian scriptures through Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, given to Sanatana Goswami, who further consolidated. What am I looking for? It means like
condensed or
developed. You know, gradually made it sweeter and more perceptible. Anyway, there's a word for that. Anyway, it was developed by Sanatana Goswami and came out in the form of Hari Bhakti Vilas, and from that we have our deity worship, and other things have been passed down to us through the agency of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, you know, in our understanding about all these things, if our Guru allows, we can read Hari Bhakti Vilas and look at these things, but we should always remember in the context of how it's been distilled by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and practically given to us in ways that we can apply and digest according to our nature. Of course, it has to be adjusted by time and circumstance. But the question is always, is there someone with the vision above time and circumstance to be able to properly adjust time and circumstance? If there isn't, I mean, generally Sri Guru does that, and he has the capacity given by his Guru and Krishna himself. But in our general case, we have to think that we really don't have the capacity to do this. Therefore, we take shelter of the line of the acharyas as they've been given to us from the distillation of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then, of course, Srila Prabhupada kind of adjusted things for the Western application, which we have continued in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. Particularly that is the ladies offering arti, kind of mixing in the same room, taking prasadam at the same time, and so many things like that that are necessary adjustments for Western understanding. But to make further adjustments, one should do that with very hesitant thinking and a lot of prayer as to the actual necessity, and also understanding that we may think we have the vision to make the adjustment, but if we're not pure, we really have to realize that we well may not have the capacity. Better to be safe than sorry. Better to take shelter of our Guru's direction, stick with that, and adjust based on the direction coming from the higher Vaishnavas. That I think we can see practically in how some of the other societies are going based on adjustment that has to do with the functions within the material world, thinking those adjustments are going to enhance the manifestation of Krishna consciousness, when in fact generally the real thing that we're looking for, and the thing that we have the opportunity to live in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, is the idea of the inner development of the soul, that being the major importance and the real thing, and all the different things that have to do with varnashram and the difference of bodily distinctions and all these things are all like very secondary. They're not that important, and they only gain importance when the inner side becomes less. So we're lucky we have the shelter of our gurus who are giving us that opportunity to be involved in a mission that focuses in that way without so much concern for the externals. Of course, we have our sadhana given by our gurus, and that's our tantric practice, which is necessary. But beyond that, what we do within this world for our service, for maintaining our families or just functioning is secondary. The real thing is how we're developing internally, how we're using our particular position to meditate on the Lord as the friend of us who's always with us and helping us to remember Him and remember that we're servants. So anyway, that's Advaita Acharya is offering a leaf and a palm of water, obviously with full pure devotion. So there's great potency in that offering. Okay, one more. Advaita Acharya considered the meaning of the verse in this way: not finding any way to repay the debt he owes to one who offers him a tulsi leaf and water, Lord Krishna thinks, there is no wealth in my possession that is equal to a tulsi leaf and water. Wow. Okay. So the Bangla. E slokarta acharya korina vicharana Krishna ke tulasi jala deya ye jana. Tara hrina shodite Krishna korina chintana. Jala tulasira sama kichu gorde nahi dana. Nahi dana, there's no wealth. In kichu gorde, this is Krishna saying, in my possession, but it's literally in Bangla, it's saying in any house of mine, I don't have anything. I don't have any wealth. Where is that? Rina debt. I guess. Jala tulasira samma. So equal to Tulsi. Just kichugare. So there's no, oh, there you go. I'm sorry, nahidana. Nahidana is there. So kichugare nahidana, there's nothing in my possession, there's no wealth in my possession, equal to jala tula sira sama, equal to water and tulsi, given by the great Vaishnava. So Advaita Acharya is considering like this, that Krishna must be thinking like that, based on the previous verse in the Gautamiya Tantra. Okay. So therefore he's with great devotion offering the Tulsi leaf. Okay. So one more. Thus the Lord liquidates the debt by offering his own self to the devotee. Considering this, the Acharya began worshipping the Lord. Tobe atma vechi kore rinera shodhana eta bhavi Acharya korena aradhana. Korena aradhana. He does worship. Advaita Acharya does worship. Bhavi, thinking in this way, that the Lord, Tabe Atma, the Lord himself, Vechi, Korde, does the selling, Reinera, of that debt, Shodhana payment. So he does the payment of that debt by selling himself to the devotee, offering himself to the devotee, it's translated as. So Advaita Acharya is thinking, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or some water. Patram pushpam palam toyam. When offered with devotion, very much pleases him. He universally accepts service of his devotees. Even the poorest of devotees in any part of the world can secure a small flower, fruit, or leaf, and a little water. And if these offerings, and especially tulsi leaves and Ganga water, are offered to Krishna with devotion, he is satisfied. It is said that Krishna is so pleased by such devotional service that he offers himself to his devotees in exchange for it. So Advaita Acharya knew this, and therefore he decided to call out for the personality of Krishna to descend by worshipping the Lord with tulsi leaves and the water of the Ganga. So Advaita Acharya knows the nature of the Lord, and like we said before, the essence of the offering is the transcendental devotion, the inner necessity, the desperation of the devotee. Having nothing but the Lord, needs the Lord's mercy. So he's calling out, and not only calling out, he's that necessity is represented by things which are dear to Krishna, which Krishna has advised to, give to him. So it's the Gautamiya Tantra tells us that the tulsi leaf is particularly powerful in that, in that transference of the devotional desire. She kind of lends her own devotion to the offering, and things become even more potent for the Lord to become obliged to his pure devotee. This is just the beautiful nature of how we're able to live, that everything is, it's not just an energy of itself, but it's practically manifest in like functions, in stuff we do, in objects that we offer, in specific things that we cook, specific areas that we sweep and scrub, particular books given by our gurus that we read. All these things are very tangible to us, and we're able to reach them even though we're not in pure consciousness. They're like handed down to us for us to hand back. It's it's quite a wonderful transcendental arrangement. And here Advaita Acharya is reflecting on this and deciding this is the way to do this. He's the Lord himself, but yet he's doing this as part of the transcendental Lila, but also to show us, to enable us to reflect on how we live our lives and try to develop and increase our devotion. Water and tulsi leaf alone, Krishna is satisfied. So obviously he doesn't need anything, but he wants our love and devotion. So our gurus are so kind, like we say in the prayer to Srila Gurudev, that he's given us so many ashrams, places in which we can actually have tangible things to do that express our desire to give back and surrender and begin through the grace of our gurus the reciprocal loving process that is the foundation of reality. We get to enter into it through the tangible structure of the temple. In and of itself, there's no meaning, but in terms of devotional utility, something like this is essential. And that's why Gurudev has given them to us. That's his loving, transcendental nature of actively extending the mercy through tangible manifestations, ways in which we can engage in devotion, even though we're conditioned. So I think we'll end there. Anything else?
Jai to all of that.
Jai. Okay. Hari Katha ki Jai. Okay. Sri Chaitanya, I forgot. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
So next one, 107. Lord liquidates his debt by offering his own self, considering the Acharya. Okay. 108. Thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna, he constantly offered tulsi buds in the water from the Ganga. Jai Srila Advaita Acharya ki Jai. Srila Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And above those three, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai. What did they... he was the manifestation of who? Srila Sridhar Maharaj told us that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was that Manjari, I know, but also in terms of our line of devotion, the Guru line. I'm almost sure. maybe it's Rupa, but I'm not sure. Just by his, his erudition and depth of realization and expression of.
More likely to be Jiva.
Maybe Jiva, yeah, right. Anyway, we'll have to look that up.
It's mentioned in Sujana.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I remember that now. It's Sujanarda.
You want the exact quote?
Oh, right.
Remember which line?
Yeah. Yes,
Year 7.
Oh, yeah, he's the illustrious personality, the light that seems